It's Sunday, but you know what that means. As we continue to bring you the best Baltimore Orioles coverage on the interweb, on YouTube, and all of your social platforms. It's the official Baltimore Orioles postgame show as the Baltimore Orioles complete the sweep in Cincinnati as they sweep the Reds, improve to 23-11 with the best road record in baseball, and maintain their lead in first place in the American League East. The bats came alive today, but it's been the pitching all week, and especially this weekend, that's gotten the job done. It's the official Baltimore Orioles post-game show. Make sure you guys swing for the fences, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you strike out that like button, leave us a thumbs up. Make sure you go ahead and hit the breaking ball on that bell for all notifications and Orioles content, and know when we drop new Orioles post-game shows throughout the season. It's the Baltimore Orioles post-game show. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Orioles are on fire, baby. Let's roll. Birdland, Baltimore Orioles fans, Flex Zone family. It's time for another Baltimore Orioles post-game show here on the Flex Zone podcast, the only place giving you that Orioles coverage how you want it, when you need it. First of all, big shout out to everybody here watching. Salute to you. We thank you for your continued support. Yes, the Orioles continue their great play as of late. They complete the sweep today of the Cincinnati Reds, improved to 23-11, with also the best road record in baseball. This team also leads the major leagues in home runs with over 50. No team has even reached 50 outside of the Orioles. And I was very, very intrigued going back to the New York Yankees series of how that series would play out. I thought it would be a series where the both teams would split. It would be like kissing your sister. But the Orioles came to play against the high-powered Yankees, against that potent offense that I had mentioned in my preview that if you guys want to check out your candidates on the channel, the Yankees came in scoring 30 runs in their last two games before the Orioles game. And as I go back to that series, I just want to get the proper numbers. They won 2-0, won 4-2. They lost 2-0, and then win 7-2. So they win 3 out of 4. Only give up what? 4. They only give up 6 runs in 4 games to the potent Yankees offense. They win 3 out of 4, and they take a game lead basically on the Yankees half game, depending on how you're looking at it right now. Still very, very early in the season, so I don't put too much stock into anything right now, but I was intrigued going into this weekend series. I thought the Reds were a team like the Orioles in the National League with a lot of young talent, a lot of potential. A guy by the name of Ellie De La Cruz, who is a star, who is a 6'5" skyscraper with speed, power, and just an overall enthusiasm and charisma of a child playing a kid's game. And his just ability is unmatched. And I thought the Reds this season were a team that could make the playoffs. I don't know if they were going to win the NL Central, but I had them as maybe like the Orioles, a team that could at least be the Orioles probably from like 2 years ago where they were pretty much a wild card contending team. That's how I looked at this Red team. With the interleague play every day, it is intriguing to see how these teams do match up. Now, the Orioles, like I said, the pitching has been fantastic all weekend. And it has just been something I've marveled at. And I've said it once, I'll say it again, and I'll say it multiple other times when you watch Orioles content on this channel. Pitching is going to be the key for this team. We know they can hit. We know they can mash. They lead the league in home runs, as I mentioned. We know they have speed, have a high Stolen base percentage, have guys that can hit a lot of doubles, guys that have big league power, can hit 20 to 30 bombs. Pitching is going to be the key because you're going to go through your peaks and valleys as you see. The Orioles bats were pretty much ice cold until today, where you're only winning 2-0, 4-2, 3-2. You have to grind games out where you're not going to get a lot of runs, and their team is going to have a good pitching performance. And with that being said, pitching is going to be the key, especially starting pitching, being able to go 6, 7 innings deep into games and be able to really, really help out this team. Look at Friday. Cole Irvin, 6 1/3, 2 hits, 4 Ks. I think he's got a 21 1/3 scoreless inning streak. He gets the win. John Means, his first start. What a fantastic job by John Means. Dropping bombs, applauses, bringing out the horns for John Means' business. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned, 8 strikeouts. So even upping his performance that you saw the day prior from another left-hander in John Means. And I want to park right there because Cole Irvin, John Means, with Grayson Rodriguez now on the IL, there is good news that he is starting a throwing program. So hopefully he's not out of it too long. We're still waiting on an update from Tyler Wells. They're probably going to bring him along slowly like we saw last season. It's important that these two guys are not only pitching, but pitching deep into games and pitching well. I think we knew Means was capable of this, but seeing this consistently from Cole Irvin is really, really important. And hearing how he talked coming into spring training about working on his body, his diet, coming in great shape, getting with Mike Elias and Brandon Hyde of what he needs to work on to be effective as a starter and potentially reliever, and what he's been primarily this season is a starter. It's great to see for Cole Irvin, and I'm proud of him. And I want to give him his kudos because I've gotten on him, others have gotten on him when he hasn't pitched well, and he's doing a wonderful job. Dean Kramer, he was fantastic today. He goes 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned, only 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. He was money today. Dean Kramer's been pitching well in his last 4 or 5 starts. He gets the win. This team is doing what they need to do. They win 11-1 today. Mike Baumann gives up a garbage time run to prevent the shutout. The Reds are 16-18. The Orioles now, as I mentioned, 23-11, 11-4 on the road. It started in the first inning with Santander singling to center. Mountcastle scored. Then my boy Westberg, the breakout candidate I had this year, his a 2-run home run opposite field to right, 378 feet. That's when it was a 3-0 lead. Rushman, who had a hell of a series, a hell of a day, double to left, scored Urias. Henderson went to third. They were up 4-0. McKenna, he's been playing well. His second home run of the season. He's played great defense. He was in center field today. He gets a home run, his second of the season, 353 feet. Then Rutschman singles and Urias scores at 6-0. Cowser picks it up. He's been kind of cold as of late with a double to left, making it 7-0. Then Tony Taters doing what he does best, hitting the long ball. Chicks did the long ball. Tony Taters, we love seeing you hitting those long balls. And he hit a home run to right center, 402 feet. Cowser, Urias, and Henderson scored. It was a grand slam, grand salami. Always good to see the grand slam. We love seeing the grand slam. And then we had a garbage time run, like I mentioned. Fraley singled to center, Benson scored, and Street steered to second, and De La Cruz to third. So the Orioles maintained their first place lead in the American League East, improved to 23-11. As I mentioned, Kramer improves to 3-2, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned, 6 Ks, 1 walk. Nick Lodolo falls to 3-1, 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned, 6 Ks, 2 walks. The Orioles have an off day tomorrow as they'll head back home and open a 2-game series with the in-state, I guess, rivals technically, the Washington Nationals down in Nationals Park on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday is a City Connect jersey night, so both teams will be in their City Connect jerseys. And then Wednesday, both 6:45 starts. Then Friday on Apple TV Plus, you got the Diamondbacks coming in for 3. And then we get our first look at the Toronto Blue Jays for 3, and then the Seattle Mariners for 3 as well. So those are going to be some crucial series coming up for the Orioles, especially in the American League landscape, the American League East, the American League as a whole, and then you got to go to after that St. Louis. So that'll be some intriguing series. You probably get to see Kyle Gibson again when you go out to St. Louis, but Toronto right now they're under 500, and Diamondbacks are under 500 after making the World Series last year. Like I said, still early. No need to panic. No need to assume anything. But it's great to see today what the Orioles did. As I mentioned, Friday the Orioles got the 3-0 victory. It was basically off of Rutschman's home run, and O'Hearn had a home run as well. Irvin wins, goes 3-1, as I mentioned, 6 in the third, 2 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, no walks. Craig Kimbrell gets his eighth save on Friday. Saturday, it got a little tight. The Orioles were up 2-0. Like I said, the bats didn't wake up until today. And Brandon Hyde yanks Craig Kimbrell, brings in Yannier Cano in the bottom of the ninth after 1 out, goes 2/3 of an inning, gets his first save of the season, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. It was a masterful choice by Brandon Hyde. I didn't really get it at the time, and that's why these guys are paid the big bucks and why they're in the positions they're in. I would have kind of went with Kimbrel, but looking at it in hindsight, Brandon Hyde seemed to know that Kimbrel didn't have it. Kimbrel probably seemed to be running out of gas. Kimbrel didn't have his location, and he bought in Cano. And the guy John Means to win 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned, 8 Ks, and it was a much needed victory because that game I thought was headed to extras, no matter who they bought in. Because I said, well, you bring out Kimbrel. Cano has blown some games before, but he held it down. And this season, Cano has been fantastic. And then today, like I said, 11-1. It was pretty much over from the get go. Outside of Kramer, who wins, improves to 3-2, 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 6 Ks. And Albert Suarez now in the bullpen. We know about his great 2 little start stint. He's now a bullpen guy, goes 2 1/3, strikes out 1, all 7 batters he faced. He retired. Dean Kramer retired 13 in a row to start the game, so shout out to him. And then Mike Baumann goes 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, and 1 K. Baumann really hasn't had a lot of work as of late. I'm not going to panic yet, but he is more suited in these low pressure situations. So good to see Baumann get a little work, and good to see that the bullpen has been saved most of this series. You didn't even had to throw really your bullpen guys out there a lot. You get the day off tomorrow. Your starters have gone at least 6 innings. Your bullpen, like I said, gets the day off tomorrow. You got a 2-game series coming up. You can have anybody available. Kimbrel, Cano, Perez, Coulomb, whoever you need can be available for the next 2 games you have against the Washington Nationals. And the Nationals actually are 500 right now. So they're not as bad as maybe a lot of people thought early on. They're fighting, they're playing hard, and they're 17-17. And the Orioles shut out the Nationals last year, didn't give up any runs. I think Kramer started one of those games last year. He was fantastic. So the Nationals might want to get their look back as well. And like I said, they're a lot better than people think early on in the season. Like I said, with the win, the Orioles take a 1-game lead in the American League East over the Yankees, who are 23-13. But that road record is beautiful. That road record is definitely beautiful for the Orioles. 11-4 on the road, 12-7 at home, a plus 55. Remember, the one stat I always look at with teams in baseball is run differential. The Orioles are plus 55. That is a wonderful number. I think that is the best in Major League Baseball outside the Dodgers, who had plus 63 with a 23-13 record. So pretty much the Orioles are tied with the Yankees and the Phillies and the Dodgers with 23 wins. As I mentioned, the best road record, plus 55 run differential, have won 4 in a row and 7-3 in their last 10. The offense is doing what it needs to do. They showed today they can give you 10 runs when you need it. But the pitching, it's amazing. It's amazing to see what they're doing. And it's only going to get better. Like I said, Grayson will be back. Tyler Wells. Kyle Bradish is back. He looked good in his first start. It is a good time for the Orioles right now, and they're really starting to round into form the way a lot of people expected them to be as one of the front runners to win not only the American League East, but win the American League and make it to the World Series. So 23-11, like I said, people, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We've only played, 34 out of 162. So we still got over 100 plus games remaining, and we're only in May. We've just completed 1 month of baseball. It feels like forever. But the Orioles get the win. They're beating the team they're supposed to beat. Their their second sweep on the road. They swept the Red Sox. They sweep the Reds, and they're playing well. Brandon Hyde is doing a hell of a job. Mike Elias is pressing all the right buttons. You look at a guy like Albert Suarez. I wanted to touch on him because you look at Yennier Cano, you look at Coulomb, you look at the guys that Elias has bought in, where he's been pretty much money on getting guys off of really the scrap heap and turning them into solid, everyday Major League Baseball contributors, whether they're in the bullpen, in the rotation, at the plate. You tell me, because he has done the right things. I mean, getting the James McCann in free agency, like I said, Cano, Coulomb, the guys that they have been able to do or use per se and really make consistent. And Albert Suarez is another guy. No, he's not going to be a consistent starter, but I think a guy that can be moved around in the bullpen, do some long relief, maybe some middle relief, pitch when you got some tired arms, give you 3 or 4 innings if need be. He can do that. And I like what I've seen out of him. I don't know how long it's going to hold up. He's not a spring chicken. He's a little long in the tooth, and he hasn't pitched a lot. And that scares me because injuries can happen with one bad twist or turn. So we'll see what Suarez does. But like I said, I still think they may need to make a move for the bullpen in relief more than starting, just because the starters, you kind of have a lot of guys that you can use. You got about 6 or 7 arms to pick from, especially when everybody's healthy. So we can make a move for a starter, but that back end of the bullpen is going to be very, very important, especially if these guys can continue to go 5, 6 innings. But I want to hear from you, Flex Zone family, Orioles fans, Birdland, in the comment section down below. Orioles sweep the Reds, improve to 23-11. Best road record in baseball, tied for the most wins in baseball, most home runs in baseball, in first place in the American League East. Give it up one more time for your O's, baby. But it is God's favorite host. It is the Flex Zone Podcast, the only place giving you sports how you want it, when you need it. Make sure you throw your ones up, acknowledge the head of the sports podcast table. Lots of Orioles content on the channel. We do Orioles content pretty regularly throughout the week, damn near every day, especially during the season. Post-game shows, series previews, breaking news. We do position breakdowns, forecasting breakout players, just everything you can think of when it comes to the Orioles. And I wanted to come on here. They won 3 out of 4 against the Yankees, which I think was amazing, especially after winning the first 2 and getting that third decisive game. And then you come to Cincinnati, you handle business against an upstart Reds team. They weren't playing well. I get it. They probably aren't playing to their potential yet, but I still think the Reds are decent. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run, much like they did last year. It was a little too late, but I think if some of their other young guys can start to round into form to help out De La Cruz, especially when it comes to the lineup. Their lineup is a little lackluster, leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know if that's because they're not playing up to potential, or they don't really have the guys outside of De La Cruz, and the pitching rotation seems to be a little inconsistent. They need like the Orioles to round into form, which we've seen from their young pitchers who have taken the next step. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're new. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you leave us a like, hit the thumbs up. It helps us out tremendously in the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you hit that bell to know when we're live and all videos drop. Our main flagship podcast will be live tomorrow, Flex Zone Podcast. We are on, what is this, episode 438. And then we'll be talking about the NBA playoffs and all of the news, sports news of the weekend as well. And we do Ravens content. We do all types of coverage down below. We were live this past weekend for WWE Backlash in France. We do WWE and AEW as well. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the Orioles so far. 34 games in, 23-11. Get the sweep in Cincinnati. Win 11-1 today. Pitching. Oh my, looking good. The Orioles can slug it out, but they can also grind it out with their pitching staff. But it's God's favorite host. Thank you for another Baltimore Orioles post-game show, a glorious one. Happy recap. I'm signing off. I'll see you guys this week. Orioles travel to DC for 2, then come home for the Diamondbacks for 3. Should be an interesting series. Then we got the Blue Jays, Mariners, and go to St. Louis. So it'll be an interesting next 2 weeks for the Birds of Baltimore. Always love being here with you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. I'll see you on the next video.